My name is Andrew Irumba, your speaker. As usual, I'm glad, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are physically here at your hotel, and those of you who are actually following us across our various social media networks across the globe, we're glad that you're tuned in. I take this opportunity to introduce to you tonight's topic. Tonight's topic is about DRC joining the East African community. I will start with Professor Alenyo who's going to set for us the agenda. Free your mind now.
On this occasion, I would like to be a pure Pan-Africanist. Not to be pessimistic, but to be optimistic about the unification of Africa. Notwithstanding the weaknesses of the East African community, so far observed, when the DRC joined the East African community, was one of the best days for me as a Pan-Africanist. I could see that the unification of Africa is drawing closer. And if possible, in our lifetime, with these developments, we can achieve that target. In West Africa now, the ECOWAS regional bloc is stronger now than it was in 2002. It has one policy on foreign matters, it has one army, and you can see sometimes they have failed coups in West Africa. There is a time ECOWAS has intervened in a government and said, no, we are not going to have this. SADC has a very strong military stand. We have seen how they stopped the other Congo war, when the Congo was almost breaking apart. But SADC came in, and the SADC forces landed, and when they landed, the war was stopped, and Congo remained.
Free your mind now.
Mr. Speaker, when I looked at this heading, or rather the title, I was taken aback. The other time we had a debate, a question, how will we position ourselves in the new dispensation? How will we position ourselves?
Very correct.
What will be our assertion? Will we be assertive?
Very correct.
Or will we continue being told what is to do? Now, when I got this topic, I thought it was a joke, but it's serious. DRC is this is the topic. DRC is ideologically and geographically incorrect to join 55-year-old non-starter East African community. Ladies and gentlemen, with great Pan-Africans like us, Africa doesn't need enemies. Because this alone shows despondency and our inability to see through or to see ahead of where we're going. Europe, the European Union, did start yesterday, did start 100 years ago. Actually, it started before Jesus was born. The Romans were ruling the whole of Europe as an entity. They even put their laws, including Britain. Britain sort of refused and established their own law. But they never gave up. That's not 55 years. That is, we're talking about 2,000 years. Even as we speak now, it's only recently that they have partially removed the borders, and as I speak, some other countries have already withdrawn. Britain is no longer part of it. But before I go there, I would like to address my friend here, the Ukrainian. I heard him make his speech, and I could stop wondering whether Isamakanga really knows Ukraine. He doesn't know Ukraine. He has a motto here, which is dialogue, not war. Actually, the motto of Ukraine today is war until victory. That's why they're looking for arms. They're not looking for negotiations.
They're not looking for Bibles to pray.
No, they're looking for arms.
Guns.
They're even looking for, they're looking for war. They are preparing for war. And I can assure you, they have been preparing for this war since 2014. They have been armed. You correctly say that this war is between America and Russia with the Ukraine as a playground. Again, Zelensky doesn't agree with you. To him, they have been invaded by an aggressor and is looking for anybody to throw out this aggressor. Not peace. He's not talking about peace. Yeah, you said that African countries voting that Uganda should take position. I think, Mr. Makanga, you are behaving like Zelensky in a way. Zelensky is actually advocating for a third world war. This is impossible. Now you are telling Uganda to join that war. This is not our war. This is, like you correctly said, America versus Russia. Yes, we will have the consequences be here. What we should be doing is to prepare ourselves. What are we going to do, whatever the results in that war? That war should be, I wish your energies were there. You said that these people will plunder. I think the Russians will plunder our resources. I don't know where you got that. You know, in the history of Africa, it is America and Europe that have been plundering our resources up to today.
Free your mind now.
I would have enjoyed more the topic which you discussed the other day about Ukraine. As far as I'm concerned, there is no new world order coming. Only barbarianism coming to its apex. What has been happening is that America has been
Wait, Professor. Barbarianism, what do you mean by
barbarianism? Is a system which came in the world after the barbarians, white tribes from the present North Europe. They called them white tribes. They were different tribes, the engineers and what. I've forgotten the right names, but in my book it's there. They invaded Europe and destroyed the old civilization. As far as I'm concerned, when you hear America saying Putin is committing genocide, he's laughing. He said, you are doing good job. For us who have been attacking countries, now it is your turn. America has been attacking countries, and then Russia supporting in the background. Now, the two barbarians, the two, Putin and Biden or America, have changed the words. Now, Russia is invading, and America is supporting the ground. The purpose is to promote barbarian violence where people are killing each other and destroying property, and they make a film out of it. Which you see, those words they talk, those are crocodile tears. They want to feel people dying, villages being wiped out, and for you, Africans, you say we are supporting each side. This is rubbish.
Free your mind now.
Right, Honourable Speaker, it is not true that integration is born out of leaderships. These are not the actual. If anyone attended the Labour Wards thinking that any of the presidents are actually the productive effects of integration, we are lying. What they are trying to do is majorly to make official what East Africans are already doing. For example, when Her Excellency the Ambassador got married to a Nigerian, had we yet, was that because of the African Union officially recognized? The cross-sectional command structures and working relations between Africans are already integrated. You know, what they are trying to do is majorly putting and making official the integration that already existed. We are only making sure we are establishing capacity. That integration that takes place between traders betwixt the African continent is now given credence in terms of one, all the countries coming and looking at themselves as one state for tax purposes, one state for currency purposes, one state until they arrive at a situation where we will say they are actually called one country for political purposes. That is going to be the final step. You generate integration in order to do the job of development, solving security issues. Having capacity as united economies to partake of the infrastructure developments that are tanky, that single economies cannot partake of. That is why we are integrating. Now somebody comes and tells you, but how you cannot integrate Congo has got close to 250 tribes. So what? The whole of Africa has got several tribes, but we belong to two major language families. The Congo-Kordofanian and the Sudano-Saharan. Integration is actually something that we are doing. We are being anachronistic. If we are to discuss whether we should integrate or not, we should cut the anachronism. We are being late. We are just arriving late. We ought to have done this long ago.
Free your mind now.
When we now discuss DRC, coming back to the main topic, Africa, by the way, with DRC in EAC, has EAC as probably the most potent, the strongest, the bigger, the most populous regional bloc. Do we need DRC? Yes or no? Of course we need DRC. Because we need to talk, we need to work, we need to move, we need to negotiate with ECOWAS, we need to negotiate with ECAS, we need to negotiate with SADC, we need to negotiate even with those North African countries that we are saying and that we claim don't have a regional bloc. Of course they have a regional bloc. And of course they're united. We need DRC. We need their minerals, we need their resources. That is how we build East Africa.
Okay.
Lastly, as I said, Ukraine versus Russia. The oil and gas issue. You know, I wonder what reason we have to actually get ourselves involved in a war. Yet we have LRA, we have Somalia, we have been fighting in Ethiopia, we have Southern Sudan crisis. We have an issue of food security, we have locust invasion, we have drought, we have famine, we have HIV/AIDS that we have not sorted out. We're still being killed by malaria. We have jiggers. Malaria is the largest killer in Africa in terms of disease. And here we are discussing Putin. I mean, what on earth is wrong with us? Have we forgotten our priorities? Now, this is the thing about leadership. Leaders must first put their people number one. Our agenda is first survival. Our agenda is first life. Our agenda is first water. Our agenda is health. Our agenda is education. We know it is going to hit us. Of course, Ukraine and Russia will hit us. We know what will happen. Gas and oil prices are going to go up. But if there are subsidies, if people are healthy, if schools are open, if we have school feeding programs, if every single girl that goes to secondary school or is at the age of 13 and above has free access to sanitary towels, that hit is not going to be too hard for us to bear because we've survived so far with everything that we have. So, DRC is ideologically and geographically incorrect to join 55-year-old non-starter EAC. It's the 55-year-old that is wasting their time. It is EAC that forgot that we have DRC next door. It is EAC that has forgotten that we have South Sudan, that if we work on, we have oil next door. It is that 55-year-old that has forgotten that if Somalia works, there is coal, and we have access to the Middle East next door. So who is wrong? Is it the 55-year-old or the DRC, the Somalians, and the neighbors who were looking at us, knocking at our door, and we're inside here bickering, trying to figure out which man or woman is better suited for us? So, yes, it is time for us to open our doors. It's time for us to unlearn this thing of looking inward. It is time to look outside. If we are not ready for change, then we're not ready for leadership. So thank you very much.